Good morning, y'all. I was up and I was just thinking and meditating, and I was thinking about how, we often pray for protection and we pray for God to remove anything from our lives that, would be against us, any people from our lives that are against us, or any people that He doesn't want to have there. And so often we think that it's going to be people that we've already kind of peaked, people that we know aren't up to any good. We know are kind of like not on our side. They've already kind of shown their face to us. But we never think about the people that we love being removed. Like the people that we value, the people that we hold close to us, but they aren't necessarily in alignment with what God has for us, or they aren't the people that they need to be so that they can continue to be around us. And that part is a part that we need to talk about more often, because when this happens, we often try to resolve and save the relationship. We think it's up to us to reach out to the person more, or to make more efforts to spend time, or to show the person how we really feel about them. Or we think it's, just a hiccup and we need to do something to better in some way, when really it's God removing that person from our lives. But because that person hasn't wronged us in such a detrimental way, because we don't hate that person, because that person hasn't shown their face or shown their behind, as we like to say, we don't really know that that person is no good for us. And that's when discernment comes in. That's when that trust of God comes in. That when God closes a door, even when I can't see it, even when I'm still loving the person, even when I feel like that person still makes me happy and still brings me joy, I need to know that God knows and God sees what I cannot see. God knows what I don't know about the future. And because of that, we also have to be okay with grieving those relationships that with people that have not wronged us, people that we still have love for, people that may still be showing love to us, but it is not for them to continue. The season has ended, or the season is not the same. Sometimes the door being closed, it does not mean that person is a person you can never speak to again. It means the season that you were in with that person has now come to an end. You're going to now see a relationship shift. They can't have as much exposure to you. They can't be in every room that you're in. They can't know all the things that they used to know. It might be a season where you're shifting from one person in the friend group to another person in the friend group that you never thought you were going to be that close to, and you don't understand it because the last person didn't really wrong you, but the person that you're shifting to is the person that is going to go with you to the next level. We have to trust God in the way that He works, in the way that He moves, even when we can't see it, and we can't let our egos get in the way of what He has. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, well, if that person hasn't wronged me, what exactly is God protecting me from? Sometimes it could be mindset. It could be that the person does not think the way that God needs you to think. It could be that the two of you are on two completely separate paths of life, two different ministries. And if you stay around this person because you love this person, you will follow them into their ministry, or you will allow them to steer you into their ministry. And God has to protect you from that. It could be that that person loves you so much that what God has you to do will bring you out of the comfort zone of having you to quit your job, or having you to trust Him more. And that person, because of their love for you, is going to say, don't quit your job. You need to stay where you are. This is how you make ends meet. You cannot go and do this and that, when you know God is speaking to your heart. So not all the time is that person some vicious person that's coming at you tooth and nail, but we have to be careful, because no matter what, God knows what we don't know. Yeah, it's a touchy subject, because protection, it's not pretty. It's not always pretty. It's not always who we expect to be protected from. It's not always in the way we expect to be protected. It's not always for the reason we expect to be protected. But when we pray for it, we pray for it. When we ask for it, we ask for it. When we come with the whole heart and we're asking God to grow us, we're asking God to show us, we're asking God to move however He needs to move. We have to be ready for Him to move however He needs to move, for Him to remove whoever He needs to remove, whether it be for a day, whether it be for a month, whether it be for a year, whether it be forever. We have to be willing to allow God to move in the way He needs to move with every single person in our lives. And we also have to know that there are other people praying the same prayers that we're praying. So when those doors shut, when we can see that someone else is moving different, or something is happening, or a shift is going on in the relationship, respect it, because As I've said, God knows us better than we know ourselves. And he might need you to step aside so that the other person can prosper, so that the other person can do what they need to do. And they might need protection from you, because remember, it does not always have to be where you have harmed that person, where you cussed that person out, where you said something nasty, where y'all had a whole falling out and can't stand each other for them to need protection. And in that, respect it. Ask God to show you, Lord, when you move, allow me not to stand in your way in whatever aspect that is. If it's a friendship, if it's a marriage, if it's my family, if it's another job, whatever it is, I don't want to be in the way of your will. I don't want to stand in between what you have for someone else. I don't want to stand in between what you have for me. Move me out of the way so that you can move freely, is what our prayer needs to be in all things. And that way we can make sure we're not moving in our own will.